Welcome back to this Victory Monday episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. Yes, welcome back to this Victory Monday edition of the Purple Rain Podcast, episode 216. Number 16 for the Ravens right now. Of course, Tylen Wallace, who won us the game last week, and recent ones, Jamon Figures, Raven legend on Madden, D'Anthony Thomas, David Reed, Quincy Adebayo, and Nick Murphy. So welcome back to this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Follow this guy on Instagram or Twitter at Sutton Def. Follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. Most importantly, our sponsor, Manscaped. I don't know if you guys have checked the calendars, but we are 1 week, 7 days away from Christmas. So if you're probably screwed either way, but if you want to get something for maybe afterwards, go on Manscaped, use code PRP, get yourself 20% off your whole order and free international shipping. But most and foremost, thank you all for coming out to this Victory Monday edition. Obviously, won last night. We'll talk about that. But how was your weekend, Sutton? Talk to me. The mic muted.
There we go. Are we good now? Can you guys hear me?
We're good.
Am I reporting?
We're good.
Okay, cool. I'm coming through clear. I do want to touch on one thing you talked about, the Manscaped thing. Yeah, you're probably too late to order something now and get it before Christmas. But guess what? A lot of us on Christmas, we get Christmas money as gifts, or gift cards or whatever it may be.
Ooh.
So you can take that, you can go on manscaped.com and get something for yourself. Or if you want to get that late gift that you hand to the person after Christmas Day, that's fine too. But you can use our code PRP to save yourself 20% off. And like my guy Alex said, free international shipping. So that is that. But welcome back to the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Victory Monday, big Victory Monday here. Very important victory last night. Coming on the road for the Ravens, 23-7 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're here to break it down, give you our biggest takeaways, and answer that question that's on the title of this video. Are the Ravens, the 11-3 Ravens, too reliant on Lamar Jackson? I want to give you guys a take as well. So if you're listening, you're not watching live, you're part of the hashtag replay gang, thank you so much for coming out to this episode of the show. Make sure you put your comments down below on what you think about that, because I'm so genuinely curious to know what you guys' kind of perspective is on this Ravens team when it comes to Lamar Jackson and how heavily we use him, especially in lieu of these recent I words that we have and guys going down, things like that. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and bring up who's here in the live chat. Before I do that, simply as Tim just says, like the damn video, man. Simple as that, right?
Yeah.
Like the damn video. We'd appreciate it. Helps us out a ton. Like, you guys don't even know. Well, you guys probably know by now. But it helps us out a ton for the engagement, things like that. Thea Pennell the fourth is in the house. Says, what is going on, Purple Rain Gang? What's going on with you, Thea Pennell? Thank you for coming through. Yolanda's in the house. We got Tanja Bowman in the house as well. K-Dog is in here. Says, if you're new and enjoying the content, please consider subscribing. Thank you, K-Dog. We appreciate that. Always putting on for the gang. He is a true Purple Rain pioneer. Tanja Bowman just coming right out the gate says, yes, they are too reliant on Lamar Jackson. I'm concerned about the offensive line down the path to the playoffs. That was bad last night. Yeah, definitely some shoddy offensive line play last night. I saw the PFF grades came out for the offensive line, and did not look pretty. Did not look pretty at all. Without any further ado, I guess we can go ahead and just kind of get into last night's game. Yeah. So again, Ravens win 23-7 in Jacksonville. It was a little bit of an ugly one, to be honest with you. It wasn't like, explosive offense from the Ravens side, bunch of passes, bunch of plays through the air, things like that. Not really. There were a couple of heroic moments from Lamar Jackson that really kind of, compelled us to win that football game, I thought. The biggest story, obviously, coming out of this game is Keaton Mitchell going down. So that's going to be probably, by default, the biggest takeaway for me. Because I tweeted, I don't know if you saw this tweet, simply, I tweeted during the game last night before Keaton Mitchell got hurt. I said that I need to see some home run plays from running back for the Ravens. And lo and behold, 20 minutes later, Keaton Mitchell goes down, and that's our home run hitter when it comes to running back. That was our kind of ace in the hole, and everybody knew it. Everybody knew what we had in Keaton Mitchell. Like at any given moment, it can be a 1st and 10 or a 2nd and short or whatever. You can hand the ball off to him. He makes one guy miss. He gets around a corner. Bye bye. You know what I mean? I don't think that we'll be able to replicate that with any of the guys that are going to be next man up. So that was my biggest takeaway from the game. We'll kind of go back and forth on our biggest takeaways, but I want to get yours too, Alex. Let me know what you thought about last night's game.
It's funny because the I word came on a home run potential play. He got shoestring tackled, and I think he probably would have kept himself up and kept on going. And it was probably, a 10, 15-yard run. And then he goes down. Really, really ugly. Hate to see it. I don't think he'd be replicated either. And I don't want to sound like it kind of ruined my mood for this night. Like, I didn't care what else happened. I'm like, well, I wasn't sitting there lying to myself. I knew he was out for the season. Right from the way you see the way he was carted off, like, it could be hyperextending. I was really hoping for that, but that was never going to happen, man. Like, you see Zay Flowers, hands on the head. It's just JK, Mark, and Keaton. I think it's going to be the hardest to replicate Keaton now because Likely has stepped up for Andrews big time. I'm not saying he is Mark Andrews. Don't twist my words. But running back-wise, like, who is going to break off those runs? It's not going to be Gus Edwards. I love Gus with all my heart, but he just simply doesn't have it. Justice Hill, He had a nice run yesterday, but we don't see it enough. Me personally, there's a running back that we drafted on the Broncos practice squad named Tyler Beatty. I wouldn't mind getting back. There's a reason why we drafted him. Broke these records at Missouri, but probably won't happen, of course. So we'll bring up Melvin Gordon. So that's what's going to be. We'll bring up Melvin Gordon, and he's not a home run hitter either.
No, he's not. He's not. I mean, we're going to be looking for either Melvin Gordon or Gus Edwards to turn back the clocks, right? I talked about last week how, Gus Edwards, we're used to him being a 4 to 5 yards a carry type of kind of guy, but this year it's been more so like 2 to 3 in that range, and it's just very ill-timed that this is when, we lose a Keaton Mitchell. Offense seems like it's finally just starting to, try to hit its stride, that sort of thing, and it's just one thing after another. We were on a little bit of a hot streak. Then Mark Andrews goes down. And then, we kind of recover from that. Likely's doing his thing. We're gaining that momentum, gaining that rhythm again. Now Keaton Mitchell goes down. I mean, this is just what happens in a football season, over the course of a football season. And I will say this, it could be a lot worse right now. It could be a lot worse. We've been in a lot worse scenarios in terms of the I word bug and us not being all that healthy, especially going into later parts of the season. But talking about who can kind of replicate what he was able to do, Justice Hill is the only one that comes to mind that can kind of, emulate that speed that Keaton Mitchell had. And even Justice Hill is not as fast as Keaton Mitchell. Even Justice Hill does not have the same sort of instincts when it comes to these cuts and getting out to the outside, that sort of thing. Again, Justice Hill is really good. I've seen Justice Hill make plays in playoff games, right? I've seen him make plays in playoff games. He has. So he has the potential to kind of fill that, that void. But the biggest thing is just the ball security, man. The ball security has got to be there. Him and Lamar Jackson have got to get on the same sheet of music when it comes to those RPOs, handing the ball off. Is he going to keep it? Is he going to pull it? Just the indecisiveness does not work. It does not work, especially with Justice Hill. That ball ends up on the ground more times than not. Can't have that. Can't have that, especially this time of the season, going into, into these next crucial matchups. Obviously, 49ers on Christmas, and then the Dolphins, and then the Steelers, and then whatever holds in the playoffs, right? It's going to be tough, but at the same time, though, do you think this means that we'll see more design Lamar Jackson runs?
I hope the hell not. I hope not. We were winning without him. We'll probably win with him, but I think we will see more. We saw it yesterday. He was taking off QB draws. There was the one bootleg play. He took it for damn near like 40 yards.
Yeah.
Like, we definitely saw more of that. And best believe when the I word happened, I went on to whatever the site is for all the free agent running backs, and not one of them moved me at all.
Nope.
Maybe
Nope.
J.D. McKissick is the only one I would consider. That was
Not
really
it.
about it. Like there was guys on practice squads. Fournette, I wouldn't hate,
I'm gonna
and
say
like I said,
playoff
Tyler
Lenny.
Beatty. Yeah, Leonard Fournette or Tyler Beatty, only two ones I would consider. I probably like a homer for the Beatty one, but the potential's there. He's young. He has been not been used at all. The legs are fresh, but yeah, I definitely think we're going to see more Lamar Jackson runs. And talking about the game last night, our run defense is fucking ass. I'll just say it right now. Like they were having their way
Just
with us, and
saying it.
thankfully, Trevor Lawrence like just was seeing ghosts out there and fumbled the ball while running, but they were just kind of having their way with us, big time. Um, Brandon Stevens had a really good game, I thought. Probably the best defensive back on the team right now. That's how good I think he's playing. Um, but yeah, it just Matt BK as well, just doing his thing. But yeah, run defense has got to get fixed. I don't know what that means, but it's a problem. And you go to play McCaffrey next and Mostert, who has 20 touchdowns in
Ooh.
the year. Yeah,
Uh,
20 touchdowns Raheem Mostert has this year.
I mean, McCaffrey's got 20 all-purpose touchdowns.
Back-to-back games. Enjoy.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be tough. It is going to be very, very tough. And this is something that I've been talking about for the past like month on this very, very show. The run defense has been suspect. It's been suspect. How much did Etienne rush for last night?
I got
Bring
you.
that up really quick. Yeah.
Um, Lawrence ran for 41. Uh, ETN ran for 31. I mean,
10 carries for 31 yards. Okay.
I just didn't. I don't know. I know it's under 100 yards, but to me, I still need to see more because I think they weren't running it because the game was out of their hands. If the game's close and you're running it on us, we saw what Kyron Williams did to us.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of that game was Trevor Lawrence dropping back, getting the ball out quick. Running was not as much in their plans, especially down the stretch of the game, but early on it was working for him. Early on it was working
Two
for him,
missed
just
field
kind of like
goals.
last week. Yeah. Two missed field goals, and they kind of got away from the run game after that and started throwing a lot more. And one could say that one could argue that they had success as well. That's success. I mean, we're looking at Agnew had 70 yards receiving. Zay Jones, who was hobbled last night, had 60 yards receiving. Calvin Ridley, who arguably should have had that touchdown. Did you think that there was a touchdown to Calvin Ridley or no?
I actually do. I do. I saw people were making a big fuss about it, but
Yeah.
whatever. I guess I feel
Watching
bad
it
if
in
you
real
bet.
time, yeah, in real time, I was like, no way, that's a touchdown. Absolutely not. But watching it back on replay, I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's a touchdown, low key. And I'm surprised they did not reverse that. I don't think it would have impacted the final score.
Nah.
I don't. Well, obviously it would have impacted the final score, but I don't think it would have impacted the outcome of the game. I think that the Ravens would have still won for sure. But man, defense overall had a good showing despite the Jaguars' miscues in the red zone. Obviously, that right before the half, them kind of getting down to what was it, the 5 yard line with like 15 seconds to go, that sort of thing. They rush up to the 5 yard line and then they try to run another play instead of snapping the
Yeah.
ball and spiking it and getting back to the line and the full plan and everything like that. They run a play, and I was happy as hell that they did. Me as a Ravens fan, I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna run a play. They're not gonna spike it. They're gonna rush this. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what they did. Gets tackled inbounds, which was amazing as well. And we go into the half. What was it? How much? How much did they have at the half?
Seven.
Did they even score?
No.
Did they
I think
score?
it was.
It was after
It was
halftime, wasn't it? Yeah.
no. It was right before. Yeah. 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 It was 10-0 at half. 10-0
Yeah.
at halftime.
Exactly. Yeah. So we go up with a 10-0 lead, going to the locker room. I was very happy about that. If I was a Jags fan, I would be livid. I would have been so pissed off watching my team just squander an opportunity like that, especially right before the half against a very, very good football team. So yeah, I mean the Jaguars, they kind of handed that game to us on a silver platter. If we did not win, it would have been It'd have been very, very disappointing. It'd have been extremely disappointing if the Ravens did not walk out of Jacksonville with a win last night. I want to get your take though, and I want to get the Rain Gang's take as well. Now that we've given our kind of biggest takeaways from the game, who was, in your idea, in your personal opinion, the player of the game last night?
Okay, real quick, talking about the Jags, seeing them go for like the touchdown before half brought back flashbacks to the 2020 game against the Steelers when they kind of sat on us and RG3 threw it up and we didn't get points before half. But they did that a couple weeks ago against the Texans. The same thing. They went for it at halftime and they didn't get the points. They beat the Texans, did not beat us. So don't try the actual good teams. But for me, player of the game, I want to say Lamar, but I think likely. I really think likely. Him going up there and making that catch, Lamar just threw it up. Some people are saying, I mean, yes, it was a good pass, but likely bailed him out big time. Double coverage. Yeah. I thought it was going to be a pick, and then he had a touchdown. Like, this guy has really stepped up for Mark Andrews. It just all around, I see Hamilton. Yeah, Hamilton played amazing too. I mean, the fact that he wasn't 100% and I think was still shutting down a lot of what they were doing in the short game, passing and running, just unreal that we got this guy, and the fact he's still playing, with his I word. And then I guess I said to Stevens, I thought Stevens was locked down. I thought they called a phantom pass interference on him. I don't think it was catchable at all. Barely touched Ridley. They called it on him. They got beat on one play, but those three guys played really, really well. And obviously Lamar doing it with his legs and his feet. But who do you have for your MVP?
I have Keaton Mitchell for MVP. I know he didn't finish the game, but what he was able to do, especially in that second half, just when we started to lean on them. I mean, the Ravens had over 200 yards rushing. Over 200 yards rushing. Almost 100 of that came from Lamar Jackson. But a lot of it came from Keaton Mitchell as well, who had himself 73 yards and averaging 8.1 yards a carry. He was gashing the Jaguars, especially late in that game, and we needed that. When Keaton Mitchell started to run the way he did in the second half, I knew we were going to win that game. I knew there was no way we lost, right? Which is why it made it even more painful when he went down with that I word, because it was just like, man, what are we going to get to replicate that? Because I'm looking at the stat sheet right now. Gus Edwards, 58 yards rushing, 3 yards a carry. And that 3 yards a carry is not going to cut it anymore, especially with Keaton Mitchell not there to average 8. So that's what really concerns me about this team as of right now. I mean, again, Gus Edwards is going to have to turn back the clocks, either him or Melvin Gordon, or Justice Hill is going to have to stop fumbling that damn ball, right? And actually hold on to it. That's really all it is. It's next man up. We can't really trade deadlines come and gone. There is nothing we can do there. We're just gonna have to work with who we got. And like my guy Alex said, there's nobody who's a free agent right now that really moves us. Like, I mean, J.D. McKissick, Leonard Fournette, we're not all in on those guys. We're just not. But that's what it's going to be for me, Keaton Mitchell, because I think that he really helped the Ravens in controlling that second half and keeping that offense on the field in key moments. I think that was huge for us. But my runner-up would definitely be Isaiah Likely. Definitely going to be Isaiah Likely. You guys all know the play where, Alex was just talking about Lamar Jackson. He scrambles out and he launches it up to Likely. Likely goes up over 2 defenders and catches it. That was an ill-advised throw from Lamar, right? Because he throws it up into double coverage. It's very risky. But if you don't watch Lamar Jackson regularly, a play like that is probably pretty jarring. But if you have watched him regularly, that happens all the time. It happens all the time. Like Lamar Jackson, he will scramble out, buy time, and then just launch a football across his body down the field, and you're just like, there's no way that somebody's going to catch this in stride, or somebody's just going to be that wide open. When Lamar throws it up, he floats it up there. Right? It's a lot left, to be desired while that ball is in the air. Like, you're just kind of waiting for it to come down. Isaiah Likely, the fact that he was able to go up and basically play basketball and jump right over the top of those 2 defenders and catch that football was amazing. It was amazing, but just risky Lamar, man. Risky Lamar. That's what he does. I mean, I can point to a couple other times he did that in his career. I think it was the first time He played the Chiefs. You remember back in
Yep. Willie
2018?
Snead.
Yeah. He launches it up, and Snead just goes and gets it, and he did it against the Chargers in the playoffs in this rookie season as well.
Yep.
Tosses it over the top to the running back. I can't remember who it was at the time.
Kenneth
Um,
Dixon.
yeah. I remember that one. I remember he's done it to Mark Andrews multiple times. How much he trusts Mark Andrews. He'll just chuck it up to him.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of what Lamar Jackson does. But the fact that Isaiah Likely has the confidence, because you can tell he's got confidence now. Isaiah Likely, he's playing with confidence. The fact that he came down with that football over 2 defenders was just absolutely huge for him. On top of the touchdown that he got prior to that, man, I think that Monken, he's got a guy on his hands where we're gonna start seeing a lot more plays scripted up for Isaiah Likely. We saw it last week with the Rams when he's wide open up against the sideline. Man, I love what I'm seeing from him. That's probably, I'm kind of talking myself into Isaiah Likely being the MVP, but I'm gonna stick with Keaton Mitchell because I mean, just the way that we were able to control that second half, especially with him running the football the way that he did, that was huge. So that's going to be my MVP. We do have a super chat donation. This one's coming from Oscar Lilienthal. Thank you so much, bro, for dropping the 2 pieces in the chat. Says happy about the W, but not happy with Zay's usage. Oh, this is a good one. One. What did you think about the lack of Zay Flowers' production or use or targets last night?
Tell you what, I learned a lot about Zay Flowers last night. I learned he's a team player, number one, but I learned he does not lack concentration. No targets the whole game. I think he had his first and only catch in the third quarter, but it was a tough catch. He had to come back to the ball, pure hands catch, caught it, try to get some yak. That's the type of guys like on my team. I love those guys. I definitely think he should be getting more than just like one target. He should be getting maybe a jet sweep or something like that. I mean, maybe a screen, not a lot of screens, Todd, but maybe one or two. But this guy, he's gonna have big plays for us coming up. I maybe just yesterday wasn't the game. I thought it was gonna be Bates' game after the first drive. I thought, well, here comes the 100-yard game for Rashad Bateman. Didn't happen. The 3 catch 39. I don't know what it was because he was looking so good. They had the one tough drop. It's like this passing game really isn't there yet. Something it feels like. There's been games it shows, and there's games like last night it just doesn't show. So I don't know what it is. The fact that we're 11-3 and haven't put together we have put together complete games, obviously Lions, Seahawks, Bengals, but I'm talking about like every phase in the offense, running and passing. Maybe the Lions and Seahawks that was really good, but I want to see him more consistent. But maybe they're saving him for the playoffs. I hope so, but I do want to see number 4 move around more and get more targets.
And I think that's a good point, Alex. I think Cam brings it up here. Says it was a rest Zay day, but the lack demonstrates that Lamar has multiple guys you need to scheme for. Playoffs should showcase a lot of one-on-ones if the offensive line blocks. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point because it'd be one thing if Zay Flowers was getting 6-7 targets a game, and then by the time the playoff rolls around, teams are just going to key in on him, shut him down, completely take him out of the game plan, and what do? Right? We're kind of left twiddling our thumbs. But, if we kind of sprinkle him in here and there, kind of let you know that, hey, he is a threat, but we're not going to be going to him 5, 6, 7 times a game. Teams aren't going to know what to expect come playoff time, which I think will bode well for our offense. I do. Maybe Todd Monken is waiting to pull out all the stops. Who knows? But it definitely is a mystery why our first round wide receiver Zay Flowers only gets 1 target last night. I think it's deeper. It's deeper than just like it just wasn't his day. You know what I mean? It's deeper than that. Yeah. Normally we'll see some stuff drawn up for him.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought yesterday kind of was a playoff atmosphere. I'm happy we got out there with the dub. I feel like we're controlling games a lot better than we were in previous years offensively, moving the chains when we had to. And I thought when they scored a touchdown, the way we bounced back and kind of fought back, it showed me a lot about this team. Because I think the Ravens team in previous years, after they scored that long touchdown to Agnew, I believe it was 10-7. I'm like, shit, here we go. We're going to have a 3-and-out. They're going to get the ball back and we're going to go down 14-10. They didn't. They showed me some fight. They showed me some heart. And that's something I really hadn't seen in previous years. Like they got punched in the mouth, kind of like against the Rams. We got punched in the mouth multiple times. Came out with the win. Last night got punched in the mouth. Came out there with the win.
You know what, Alex? I got to disagree with you there because I don't think that
Okay.
we got punched in the mouth. I don't think we've gotten punched in the mouth yet. I think getting punched in the mouth is going down 2 possessions early in the game. That's what
That'll
getting punched in
happen
the
in the
mouth is.
playoffs. It's gonna happen in the playoffs. Right now, it's gonna happen in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're not wrong for making that prediction because I could totally see it. And then it's just like the whole story is going to be
Yeah.
like, okay, now what can this Ravens team do when they're not front runners, that sort of thing. Uh, but yeah, I don't think that we've really faced true adversity yet. I mean, the most I think we've trailed for I think the least amount of time out of any team in the league thus far. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's a legit stat right there. I think they were talking about it on the broadcast last night. And I believe it. It feels so rare when we're losing, and that's how I know that stat is true. It feels rare that when we're losing. Um, but but yeah, man, it's whew, this team needs to they need to pick it up. We're good, but we're not great. It's arguable that the Ravens are even the best team in the AFC right now. I think that they are. I think that they are, but you can make an argument. The Bills are coming on hot, right? I mean, the Chiefs are always going to be right there. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins just shut out the Jets, but it's like, who are the Dolphins? I don't know who the Ravens are sometimes. Like, to me,
Mm,
I hate to say it, I don't want to call us frauds with all due respect. I just need it. Like, I don't care about the regular season. I want to see it in the playoffs. I'm not going to sit here and
yeah,
say we're Super Bowl contenders. I want to see it
yeah,
in the playoffs.
right.
That's my biggest thing. Yeah, and just our line too. Like Ronnie Stanley. There it is, Jay. Thank you. That line last night. That was just Josh Allen. All right. We're talking about Randy Gregory, Chase Young, Nick Bosa, if Javon Hargrave is healthy. Like we're playing the best defensive line and edge rushers in the league. There is no doubt about it in my mind. They are unreal.
Yeah,
Um, Not to spoil it, I do have us losing this game now, even more with Keaton Mitchell out. But I want this team to learn who they are next Monday. So yeah, and
mm,
Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw behind them.
yeah,
Now I was just talking about
yeah.
their D line and the edge rush, man. We can talk about the whole team. They have so many guys in there that are
That's
top in
seven.
their positions. And you can say the same for the Ravens, yes. But looking at this opponent, it's the toughest team we've played all year, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough game. Now, just talking about the offensive line play from last night's game, Morgan Moses, I think, is dealing with something for sure. He's dealing with an I word. We know for a fact Ronnie Stanley is dealing with something because they don't even know if they want to play him. They'll put him in for a drive, see that he's getting cooked. They'll take him out, put him back in. He gets cooked again. It has not looked good for Ronnie Stanley, man. Not looked good. And I even tweeted myself last night. I was like, respectfully, just take him out of the game. Leave him out of the game because if he's going to be more of a liability than an asset, I don't want him on the field. I don't care how much money he's making. You know, like if he's hurt, don't trot him out there. Like let him rest up until he's good to go. But I don't at this point. I don't know if
He
he's
won't.
ever 100%. You know what I
No,
mean?
he
I don't even
hasn't
know if
looked.
he's ever 100% good.
No. He hasn't looked the same since the I word in 2020, which it
Mm,
sucks because like I I'm not gonna sit here and blame DeCasa. Like I see some people like he got paid the 100 mil because of how good he was, and the next game after is when it happens, and he hasn't been the same since. That's just unfortunate timing and bad luck.
yeah. Let's
Because
see. We
he
do
was a
have
top tackle before
another
it happened.
super chat donation. This one's coming from Black Daniels. Thank you so much, Black Daniels, dropping the 5 piece in the chat, making it rain here on episode
Yes.
216 of the Purple Rain podcast. Black Daniel says, "Can we be honest in saying this is what the Ravens look like with a healthy Lamar Jackson in December? Past years leading AFC, I word, the team falls flat. LJ for MVP. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You could argue that the team can fall flat even if Lamar didn't go down, even if he doesn't go down.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen before too. We almost saw it happen back to back time against the Titans until Lamar Jackson just said no, like we're not doing this time, and he had that. You guys all know that touchdown scramble, which to me won us that game, to be honest with you. But um, yeah, I mean it's we're getting very close to that time of season in January where we're gonna have to play a playoff game, and the difference is this year and how I guess how it's similar to 2019. We're probably gonna have that 1 seed. If we can beat the Dolphins and the Steelers, we're gonna have the 1 seed in the
Yeah.
AFC. And that is going to be absolutely huge because, again, I know what everybody's thinking. Like, look, we had the 1 seed in 2019. I'd rather just play that wild card game, keep our momentum. No,
I
no, I
changed my
promise
mind. I
you.
think now
Yeah, yeah.
the way Stanley, Marcus Williams, I want our guys to play Week 18. That's my biggest thing. Like, do not sit the starters. Play Week 18 against the Steelers. I don't care who it is.
Mm.
But Williams is banged up. Obviously Stanley, I think Moses as well. I think is, and then a couple other guys just dealing with some stuff as well. So, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, in 2 games is better than 3. I'll just say that. I mean, if the Ravens only have to win a divisional championship and an AFC championship to get to the Super Bowl, I will take that. I will take that. You guys know, I mean, there's these 18-week seasons now. Every single week, every day, every hour of rest counts for these guys. It really does. That's what the players say themselves, especially going into late in the season. Every moment counts. Every moment counts. So a bye week is huge. Let those other AFC teams beat up on each other for an extra week before we have to come back and play. If we fall flat, that's on the Ravens. Listen, we can
yep.
we can go into a super wild card weekend matchup and still fall flat. Like, it's totally possible. Totally possible. So I'd
Happened
much
against the
rather take my
Chargers.
chances. Yeah, I'd much rather take my chances and play those 2 games instead of 3 to get to the Super Bowl. So yeah, give me that first seed. Give me that first seed.
Can you real quick bring up Randall's comment? He says Niners fan here. Niners fan since 1986. Anyway, just checking in to see how you all feel about the game. Most Niner fans recognize the Ravens as the best in the AFC and most likely Super Bowl matchup. Thank you for coming through, Randall. Much respect to you. For me, I said it before on the stream, when the Ravens are not playing, I probably enjoy watching the Niners the most. Because to me, they are a team that I think can score on any possession possible, any play possible. It's going to be hard to cover both Debo and Ayuk. I have us losing the game as a Ravens fan. Just what they can do with their pass rush. They're just an all-around team. And I think Purdy's going to not make mistakes. And I think he has the ability to dot us up, but nothing too big over the top, especially if we have Geno Stone, Marcus Williams, Cal Hamilton. But I think we, as Ravens fans, recognize, too, that this is the hardest team that we played, and it could be a Super Bowl preview. And it's a 2 number 1 seeds going at it. So it's going to be a hell of a game, but I just hope we both come out healthy is my biggest thing after last night as a Ravens fan, what we see.
Man, you're talking about Debo and Ayuk. I'm worried about Christian McCaffrey. We just got done talking about how this run defense is super suspect. I'm afraid of that first jump.
Jawan Jennings.
Yeah. I'm afraid of that first jump cut. I just don't want the ankles of a Patrick Queen or Roquan Smith to get taken by that, and then that kind of sets the I'm just saying. I could totally see our interior D line just has not been able to shut down a run. And if Christian McCaffrey gets to that second level, there's really nothing that we're going to be able to do. They will run us off that field. It's just as simple as that. They'll run us off the field. And it's going to take an offensive masterclass. An offensive masterclass from not only Lamar Jackson, but that offensive line as well, because like you said, we're going up against one of the most talented defensive lines, front sevens in this National Football League. And if the last thing I want to see is edge rushers flying past Lamar's face on every single drop back. That's the last thing I want to see is just the tackles getting destroyed constantly. I can't deal with that. Those type of games we lose. We lose those type of games. We do. And now we can't lean on Keaton Mitchell in the run game anymore. So again, part of that offensive masterclass. Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, they're going to have to pick up the slack. Interior O-line is going to have a bigger role now too. Less of these outside runs, right? Because we don't have a Keaton Mitchell to bounce it out to the outside, things like that. I think it's going to be more inside stuff. So that's going to put more pressure on guys like Linderbaum, guys like John Simpson, guys like Kevin Zeitler as well. So, man, it's going to be a tough one. We'll preview that game. We'll probably do a Purple Rain report to preview that game coming up on Monday, on Christmas Day. But man, it's going to be tough. Let's go ahead and get into some other things you guys are saying here. Make sure you drop some
Yeah.
questions down below in the chat room. Drop your questions about the game, about the Ravens. What do you think? Are the 11-3 Ravens too reliant on Lamar Jackson? I think the short answer to that question is yes.
Yeah.
It's yes.
Yeah.
There's no other team, and I think that the fact that you can say yes to this question also makes the point that Lamar Jackson should be in the lead for MVP. He should be in the lead for MVP voting because if there's any team in the league that is as reliant on their quarterback as the Ravens are, let me know. Let me know. Because I don't think that there is one. Can you have any ideas?
I don't know. I don't. I mean, I think it should be McCaffrey, Hill, Lamar should be in there. Purdy should be in there. I think Dak's out the conversation now. But honestly, I don't even care about MVP. I don't even care, bro. I could care less about the MVP. I really don't care about it anymore. Like, we know what he can do. I just want playoff wins, honestly. I really don't care about this MVP race. It's all talking points. I'm talking. It's the ESPN segment at this point. So I think he should be up there. I mean, if you watch the Ravens, and like you say, you take Lamar out this team. What is our record? So you go ahead and tell me what this record is without Lamar Jackson.
Man, without Lamar Jackson, I'm thinking like an 8-6, something like that. If that, you know what I mean? If that. But let's see. Don says, have confidence in the Ravens. They're built tough. Yeah, I hope so. I do have confidence. I'm probably still going to pick the Ravens to win, just knowing me. But yeah, it's going to be the game of the year. Game of the year.
Like, I see somebody saying, like, just because, like, I'm not sitting here and, like, what was the comment? I'm not acting like the Ravens or the Browns at all. I'm just letting you know, like, that's how I feel as a fan, as a neutral. Like, if I'm looking at it, I think the Niners are going to have the edge on us. I don't think the Ravens are a bad team. It's just, have we not been watching the same John Harbaugh-led teams? Like, I don't care about the regular season. I really could give two shits about these games. I want to see what we do in the playoffs. One playoff win in, like, 10 years or 8 years or 2 in 10 years. That is not elite at all. Like, I think the Texans have the same amount of playoff wins as us.
I think Lamar Jackson feels the same way.
I think he does too. I just wish our head coach would. Like,
well, coach said the same thing last night. He said after the game, he said, I couldn't care any less about MVPs. Or no, I think he said that today. He said, I couldn't care any less about MVPs. He said, good thing is Lamar Jackson doesn't care either. Even after the game last night, the on-the-field reporter goes up to Lamar Jackson and tells him, hey, look, you guys just clinched the playoff berth, yada, yada, yada. And Lamar's like, oh, we did? I didn't know that. We clinched the playoff berth?
Good.
Didn't know that. I mean,
like,
just trying to win
the
the Super Bowl.
next,
love that.
And then go for the conference, then the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. Because that's really all we have left to prove is playoff success. So
that's it. That's it. All right, go ahead and drop some more of your questions down below in the chat room so we can take these before we leave for the night. Make sure if you're not watching live and you're part of the hashtag replay game, make sure you leave your questions down below because we do get to those as well, as you guys know. Lisa Ann in the house says, will Lamar Jackson get close to 4,000 passing yards? Where's he now? 32, 33?
32.
Oh. Close. Will he get close to 4,000? Close to me is like less than 200 away.
Oh. He's at...
Where's he at?
3,100.
31?
I don't want him to throw for 300 yards the next 3 games because that means we're losing in some of
them. Yeah. Let's say in the next 3 games, can he get about 700 yards?
I think 3,750. I think like that.
Okay. Okay.
Then last time you see, we put up 23 points. He only threw for 174 yards.
See, I don't think that Steelers game is going to have a whole lot of passing. That's my thing. I don't think that we're going to see a whole lot of passing yards in that.
One half. I hope our starters play a half in that game. Don't sit them. That's all.
Yeah.
Because then that's 2 weeks off, and that's just asking for not good stuff to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he doesn't get to 3,700. I think he falls just short of that. Maybe somewhere around like the 36, somewhere around there. That's just me. All right. Let's see. Engineering design says any chance we get Mark Ingram back could be fun. LOL. I'm gonna go absolutely not
Like
there.
he can keep previewing Bama on the Big Noon show, which I love him, by the way.
Yeah. Uh,
Love you, Mark.
King says I might be in the minority, but I want to win this game more than the last two Super Bowl previews. So yeah, he wants to win on Christmas. Trust me, man. That would be a wonderful Christmas gift for all of the rain game,
Yeah.
for all the Ravens flop. Would love that. Would love that. But in San Francisco, Keaton Mitchell just goes down. Purdy's looking like an MVP. Man, and that team is firing on all cylinders. They really are, you know. So I think we opened up as 5.5 point underdogs for this game, which makes sense to me.
Cool. Cool.
Cool, right? I mean, we're being
I
doubted
like it.
as is, but it's gonna be a hell of a game. Can't be scared for this game and want to go to the Super Bowl, right?
No, no, and like I'm looking forward to it. Like I think my biggest thing is the Ravens' offense is unpredictable. As an offense, I mean passing offense, because I don't know who's going to be the guy. I don't know who's going to get the most catches on the team. I didn't think it was going to be Bateman last night. I thought it was going to be Zay. Zay had one target. Odell having one catch. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting us to attack their weak secondary. Instead, we went for like over 270 yards on their number 4 ranked rushing defense. Like that, maybe that's a blessing in disguise. You don't know what the Ravens offense is going to do. So maybe I'm just sounding like a crazy idiot right now. Maybe that's the thing. But yeah.
No, you don't sound crazy. You don't sound crazy. We do have a question. Let me see
Okay.
from Dre. It says, can y'all see JK being brought back after the Mitchell injury? Or I word, sorry.
I don't know. I don't. It wouldn't be for. It'd probably be like a 2-year, $9 million deal, if that.
Yeah, I think we move him, to be honest with you. I don't see JK coming back. Because I just think that of course, we have Keaton Mitchell for a couple more years locked up for a cheap deal. So why even go to the negotiation table with J.K. Dobbins when we could be like,
Yeah.
okay, look, we're gonna send you over to whatever team in the NFC, wherever. We're gonna get some draft capital for you, and we're gonna go about our business. We got our guy who can replicate kind of what you were doing, J.K. Dobbins. We have him for cheap for another couple years. It's all business. It sucks, but it's business. You know. Yeah. Let's
It
see.
just.
We'll go ahead
Oh.
and we'll leave it here with Randall's question. It says, question, do you know what percentage of man versus zone the defense runs? Curious. Brock Purdy is awesome against the blitz. He's blitzed a lot for some reason and does very well. He's better against zone versus man.
We
The
haven't
per-
like
yeah,
when we bring the blitz, like you got to be smart with it. That's the thing. We bring some very
yeah,
intricate, very
disguised. Yeah,
yeah, not your mom's regular blitzes. We might like I saw yesterday. We'll have our defensive tackle Brent Urban or Michael Pierce drop into coverage.
yeah,
Yes, like 300-pound men, and we'll bring like our linebackers, how our safety Kyle Hamilton, like we'll bring those type of blitzes, and it's really weird, but not going. They work. It worked last night. I'm like, why is Brent Urban out in coverage? And it's a throwing away ball.
yeah.
It's we don't
I
blitz
think you'll
nearly as
see
much.
you'll see a lot of zone when the Ravens play against the 49ers because they're going to want to keep guys like Debo Samuel in front of them, Christian McCaffrey in front of them, which makes a lot of sense. But if I just have to give you a little piece of advice, Randall, for when you're watching this game, make sure you know where number 14 is at on the field at all times, because that's going to be the guy who can wreck your game. And he can wreck your game by blitzing off the edge and sacking your quarterback, or he can drop back in coverage, break up passes, get interceptions, things like that. Kyle Hamilton is the truth. He is that guy, and he is going to be the one that you guys are going to have to worry about on top of a Roquan Smith and the Patrick Queen. And that's one thing about those guys, the linebacking duo. Their confidence needs to be established early in this game. And I expect for Roquan Smith to really be very, very vocal because I think he understands what this game is going to mean to them. And by them, I mean Roquan and Patrick Queen, the linebacking duo. It's going to be huge because they're going to be responsible for stopping so much, stopping Christian McCaffrey, getting Debo Samuel on the ground. If Kittle is somewhere in the shallow, getting him down, that sort of thing. They're going to be asked to do a whole lot. So I expect them to come out fired up, but yeah, they're going to be important.
Yeah, and I think, well, I don't think, like, this is a fact. It's the two best linebacker duos going against each other as well. Warner and Greenlaw and Smith and Queen. Like, you really, like, there's just so many just different battles going on throughout the field, offense and defense, I think Charvarius Ward is one of the best corners right now in the game. You watched him recently. He has been playing lights out. Then you have our receivers, like, well, you don't know which one's going to have the breakout game for the Ravens. And then, Lamar against, the defense. It's just going to be such a good game a week from today. Looking forward to it. Like, it's going to be – this is why you put these two teams on Christmas. Like, after you're done opening up the gifts, or if you're opening up gifts at night, you watch this game. This game should be on. You should have it on and enjoy your Christmas evening.
Yes. All right, so we're going to go ahead and leave it there for the question segment in this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast, episode 216. Thank you guys so much for coming out to this show. We appreciate it. We're getting up there, man. Christmas is right around the corner. Make sure you leave a like on the video for us. That'll be our Christmas gift. If you're new, maybe your Christmas gift to us is just a subscription. Maybe subscribe. It's free. I promise. You hit that little subscribe button down there. And we will be going live, of course, throughout the season as the season goes on. Playoffs are right around the corner. It's almost that time. Ravens have already clinched a playoff spot. So I cannot wait. It's Clinchmas. Merry Clinchmas, everyone. I cannot wait for these streams where we are preparing and reviewing playoff games, win, lose, or draw. I cannot wait. That's probably my favorite time of year. Thank you so much, Cam. Thank you so much, Randall. We appreciate you for coming through. 49ers fan. Bailey, giving a shout out to the Replay Gang. Shout out to you, Bailey. Cam in here says Replay Gang. Shout out to y'all. Black Daniels. Happy Chrysler. Festivus,
I see Boz as well. Boz said, like that video and love my new profile picture.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Osama bin Tomlin.
No.
Oh, no.
Listen. All these teams can have what they want, but Lamar has Johnny. All right. If you know the legend of Johnny, okay, it's a real thing. You know what I'm talking about, Sutton? Johnny?
No, I'm afraid
The Lamar
not.
tweet. The Lamar tweet, Johnny? Bro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Listen. 2019 was trust. 2023 is Johnny. Like, I think when we all talk about 2019, it was like that play against Seattle. The Johnny tweet. We were 8-1 since that tweet. That's all I'm going to say. Like, Johnny has changed the Ravens.
The IQ is off the charts.
And Johnny we trust. But thank you all for coming through to episode 216 of the Purple Rain Podcast. As always, stay positive, test negative.
Yeah, and never, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. This is episode 216 of the Purple Rain Podcast. We're going to catch you guys